Okay, this is the last video about this system. So far we've compared things to the existing SOCOM Spear Extra Large backpack, seen how this one evolves from that. We've talked about the TCCC adjustments to minimize the need for an additional assault pack. Now you can use this here, and I'll show an alternative, I guess, in a fourth video, come to think of it. So there's going to be 4, not 3 videos. But it's an all-in-one pack, for better or for worse. This is not for a unit that has a giant gear and arms room from which they can choose the absolutely perfectly tailored ruck in terms of size for every mission. But if you're looking for something for extended operations that's extremely high quality, well proven, does everything you need, and actually saves weight versus having to carry multiple large rucks, then this is the way to go. Now we do the PCC compartment. It's not a quick open, like a rip open, but it's pretty close. And here we have, it's actually 2 things, but I'm going to combine these 2 in terms of nomenclature. And this is the PFAK, the Prolonged Field Care Kit, named as such because everyone knows what an IFAK is, and a PFAK kind of makes sense. So this PFAK is where the money is for this system. We took all the recommendations from the JTS guidelines for PCC and broke everything down into an immediate use and a later use half shell. So one of these, you're gonna take over the casualty or transition to prolonged casualty care after having used the other PCC items. You're gonna actually start with this one, and then you start diving into all the PCC equipment. So let's say you've already done 2 whole blood transfusions. You have 2 more transfusion kits. So if the patient's bleeding out, you can use it to stabilize them. Then in here, you have these 2 nifty little pumps. That'll obviously come a bit more fresh when you get them in the field, but these PCA pumps, ambit pumps, battery operated, I think they're AA's or AAA's. Either way, you can replace them easily in the field if you have prolonged operations. And then contained in here, you have a variety of analgesics, sedatives. So this one's the controlled substances. You've got ketamine, you've got Ativan. This is the sedation portion. And then this one is actually where you make your fentanyl mixture. So one drip that you get with the PCA is the ketamine drip, and the other one is the fentanyl drip. One problem we ran into is ready-made fentanyl drips and the concentration we wanted aren't available. So the hardest part of actually this entire kit is mixing the right mixture of fent and in terms of diluting the original that you get and putting it into this bag. But it does give you exactly what you want. And then additionally, you have diluted as adjuncts. Then you have all kinds of IV tubing, flushes. You start out with these already pre-filled flushes. There's about 10 of them in each. And then you transition to actually refilling them with a normal saline bag, just because that saves a lot of space. We've actually taken all the needles out of this, so these are all with various locks that are needleless so that you don't stab yourself in the middle of the night when you're tired after 24 hours of doing this. This is some Zofran for early use, more Ativan. You've got some Narcan in here. There's one missing. It should fit in here. So what Mystery Ranch did is we started out with just a cube that was 20 liters in size, because our goal was 20 liters in volume and then 20 pounds in weight for 24 hours of care. From an ergonomic perspective, that wasn't doable. You were just rummaging and losing stuff. So they broke things down into these 2 clamshells and added a lot of pockets, and then we fill these pockets to a heart's content. And so this, again, is the early phase. You've got the tubing here, everything like that. So you open this up, and within a few minutes, you've got the setup to keep the patient sedated, to get their pain under control. and from there you can move on to phase 2. And now you get more of the sustainment aspect. You can, if you see here, there's a few of these super thin packs. If you want to do a Foley, you can put that in. An additional chest tube, we assume that someone already have one chest tube kit in their TCCC, so we just put one in there. You've got glucose amps in here, you've got a suction device, you've got an OG or NG tube. If you're worried about GI bleeding, I think especially you want to monitor that, or they're just having a lot of emesis because they got hit right after they ate their chow. We've got a few aspects for TBI management, the 3% in here. There's also Kepra in here as well. This is your makeshift bagging that should be more permanent. Here's the Kepra. Obviously a finalized military kit won't be Ziploc bags and demo doses, but this gets the point across and also gets us the same weight and volume. This is your normal saline replan so that you can refill your syringes. Some basic moist towelettes for when they poop and get dirty. A few other things, but fundamentally this is for the subacute phase, because I guess the acute phase would be TCCC, but then you first transition to giving the PCAs, and then in here you also have antibiotics. You've got ertapenem. At this point we still have VANC. We may not actually need that because the data show that MRSA is not a big deal. In fact, staph has not been a big deal with a lot of battlefield wounds. You've got some basic reversal agents and such. So this is the real innovation for this. This is just a carrying system, this pack. This is the first ever, to my knowledge, prolonged first aid kit. Or prolonged field care kit, I suppose. But prolonged first aid kit sounds nice. It's just underestimates how much is in here. Obviously, you can't carry this on your belt or on your flak like you could with an IFAK. But this is the first super condensed, standardized 24 hours of prolonged field care kit that, to my knowledge, has been made. So the good thing is it's hard to do with only one free hand, but you can quickly close this up, put everything back in here, and then throw these two back in there. And so if you're moving, you can take only one of these out, take what you need. It's designed to be quick access and also not to explode whenever you open it up, so that you can quickly access what you need, put it back what you no longer need or what you've used, and then put this back in here and keep moving if you're doing anything on the go, such as a trap mission or anything like that, where you're extricating a wounded pilot or individual and you have to do things on the move. All right, so one more video that I'm going to show in a minute is just to give one more option for the TCCC day pack. But this concludes the demo of the prolonged casualty care aspect of this pack, the PFAK, and how to access it, and some basic contents as well.